Hi guys, welcome back to 7th video tutorial of J2W. In this tutorial we're going to discuss about database. So in this tutorial we're going to cover the topics like what is the use of database and what will happen without database and all we can see it. Suppose if you want to have any content or any data, suppose if you have a data like an employee details, like suppose employee number is 1, MP name is James and salary will be some amount. So you'll be having some data. If you want to keep this data to be saved, so we have different ways of saving data in regular computer. So if you want to save it, what is the way to do? You just have to save as a file. You can able to save it, right? Either you can able to save it as a file, or you can keep it as like keep it in some way, like you can send it through mails and there you can save it, or some way you can able to save it and you can reuse it. The similar way database is a source where you can able to save the data with secured way. So it's not like if you create a file with this file with this data and everybody can able to access it. There's no encryption over here, and directly everybody can able to access it. And suppose if I want to make this file to be accessed only for the certain users with the certain privileges, then the database comes to the picture. What database can do, it actually save this data, and for particular users only it will be, you can able to provide access for that, so people can able to access the data with those privileges. Don't worry guys, so don't make much confuse on it, and it's a simple. Once we complete this tutorial video, then you get to know all these things what I'm talking about. So the main intention of having databases are to save data. To save data, or data like employee details or files. So anything like even you can able to save data or files also, you can able to save it in a database. So there are different types of databases are there. First way you can see what and all types of different databases are there, and how actually differs each other. There are two types of data types are there. One is relational database, and the other one will be non-relational database. So these are all the two different data types, databases we have in real time. One is relational databases and non-relational databases. How the data actually contains in these types of databases, we can see it now. First, we can see relational database. So a relational database is a database which actually stores the element in a relational format. How the relational format will be? It is a simple a table format. A table which contains rows and columns. So a relational database is a database which actually contains data in a relational format. Suppose if you want to keep the data like whatever you have here, right? Employee name, details, and salary and all. If you want to keep it, the way to save it is you just need to have employee number and the name of the employee, and the salary of the employee. So this is how it looks like. I just want to keep the data, and that's one James 120,000. One James and salary is 20,000. So these are standard way of creating a tables and storing a data. So we have set of commands available for each database, and we can see it in later. So these are the relational databases are looking like, and these are the table structures and looking like. Coming to non-relational databases, like without NoSQL databases also. These are called as NoSQL databases. These will query using SQL queries, and these called as NoSQL databases. We can see it what is SQL data. First, we can see how the data structure will looks like in non-relational databases. The structure is in non-relational databases are JSON. Suppose if you want to keep the same data in non-relational databases, the way to do this is just have a JSON string where you can have the details, employee number, which is one, name, which is James, and the salary. So what are the amount it is. So for the same record, in non-relational databases, the data will look like this. So the relational databases data you can be able to query. Suppose if you want to insert any record, or if you want to uh, update any record, if you want to delete any record. So all these operations you can able to do using SQL. SQL, what it means? Structured query language. Structured query language is called as SQL. So for this thing, you can query using the commands which is provided by the particular database. So these not used by SQL commands. So these are different commands which is not SQL commands. For that reason, it is called as NoSQL. So these databases, what are the databases are providing relational database, relational structure? Those are called as SQL databases, and these databases are called as, so these databases are called as NoSQL DB. So these are difference between SQL and NoSQL DB. In interviews, guys, interviewer might ask, so what are the different types of databases are there? So we can explain. There are two types of databases are there in the industry. One is relational databases. The other one is non-relational databases. So the relational databases are looking like in a table format. For making operations in relational databases, you have to use SQL, which is structured query language. For making query non-relational the databases which are having non-relational, which are called as non-relational databases, we can use, we can call it as NoSQL DB as well for them. So in here, for relational database, this data, whatever data we stored in a table, which is called as table. So these called as table. Suppose this particular data is having employee details, right? This is called as EMP table. But in this case, this employee details, whatever we have, right? This is actually called as collection. NoSQL collection or anything you can call. So this is actually called as collection. So each collection is refers to one table. Suppose you can, in terms of the data, if you're talking about the data in relational database is a table. So in relational databases, all the data will be saved in different tables. In NoSQL DBs, all the data will be saved in collections. So these are the major difference between SQL and NoSQL databases. Now we can see in industry what are databases are available with SQL databases and non-SQL databases. So the SQL databases, we have it in industry like MySQL, Oracle, DB2, DB, or etc. You have a lot of databases, all are almost open source, and you can install it in your machine. You can test it. So these are all the different types of relational databases we have it in industry. One is MySQL, which is very much popular, and Oracle DB2. Uh, Oracle DB2 are most of commercial. You have to buy license for them. They'll give beta version for testing, for development and all. But for productivity, you have to use. You have to purchase the product for production. And we have different databases, DB, and even we have PostgreSQL. So different SQL databases are available in the market. For NoSQL, we have databases like MongoDB, so which is open source, and DynamoDB. So this MongoDB is a open source. You can able to download and you can install in your system, and you can use it even for production with free. But DynamoDB is actually, it's not a free. It comes from Amazon. It's Amazon product. So if you want to use it in your commercially, then you have to buy a license from Amazon. Then you have to use it. So if you explain this much to the interviewer, saying so types of databases and what is the major difference between them, and how to query them, and so what and all databases are available in the market, that will be more than enough for interviewer to get understand you better. So in this series of tutorial, we are going to discuss about relational databases. We are not going to discuss about MongoDB. If we have time constraints, so then we can look into that. But for now, we can start with SQL databases. So we can choose either of one. Let me go with the open source so that we can have all the commands over there, and I'll be choosing MySQL database. And the first step we have to do is we have to install the software in your machine. Then we can get started with using the database in your Java programs further. So let's get install this MySQL software in my machine. Let's go to the Google MySQL download. So we just click on MySQL download, then it actually navigates to this link, mysql.com downloads. Go to the downloads directly. So you'll be getting the download options. Go to the end and see, here you can see the community edition, which is free version. You can have to download it. Go to the community edition, and you have set of separate downloads are available. One is MySQL community server, and MySQL cluster, and router, and shell we have, and workbench we'll be using, and MySQL connectors. So we have different projects are available in MySQL website, and for now we need is MySQL community server, and we need a workbench. So the difference between server and workbench will be the server is the one which actually holds the data. So whatever the place which is actually holding all the data, right, what are the tables and all, it actually, which is called as server, database server, which is called as in if you see this same in if you see in other databases also, Oracle or DB2 or DB or anywhere, the so the format will be same, like each database will have one server and one client. Workbench is called a client, where you can use some GUI. There you can enter your SQL command. There you can see the outputs over there itself. That's good to use any client, but it's prefer to use respective clients. For MySQL, we have Workbench, which is actually used for a client. to make queries to make our queries running in MySQL Workbench, which actually talk to the MySQL database server, which is what actually holding the data. Workbench is used to executing your SQL queries and all. So let's go and download this one. MySQL server I need and the Workbench. So if you go to the community server, you'll be having set of options here. If you see generally available releases, you can choose your operating system. Mine is a Windows. I can choose Windows operating system. If you have different OS, you can choose accordingly. And, uh, and below you have two different types of downloads. One is if you see it in the bottom, the sizes are like 244, 254 M and 388 M. So the difference between these two files will be, one is web archiver. Web means you have to use the internet source and you have to download it further files. And apart from that, it have only zip archive. It actually have debug binaries also. It is actually having. That is the reason the size is big. So you can choose either of one. Let me go and choose this one alone for now. And either you can log in through the MySQL website or sign up to the site, or if you don't want anything, directly go to the no thanks, just start my download. Now just start your download here. This download will come. Download started. So this software I have already downloaded. I'm just stopping it. I don't want this to be downloaded again. And for the Workbench, you have to go to Workbench for source, and you have to choose the software whatever is available, which is installer. Just click on download. That's it. The download will start. This will format the same. If you wish, you can log in, or you can directly click on download option. So I have downloaded both the softwares. I don't want to download it again. So I need SQL Server and Workbench, right? I already downloaded. Let me go to my folder where I downloaded. So these are where I have downloaded MySQL installer and Workbench. Let me install the installer first, then we can go to the Workbench. So MySQL installer is what? MySQL Server actually. Just double click on it. See, you will be getting license agreement. You just need to go through it once. It's good to go through it once. Then you just need to accept it once you read all the content. If you don't read it, click on next. Then you have options like developer default or SQL server only or client only or full if you want to install custom. So it's a developer point of view for now, and I just want to go with developer default. And here it is showing to check the requirements. It is whether it is all these are available or not, and you can simply click on next. So then we just click on execute. It will actually execute all these things. So Workbench also, it seems they're giving with the installer itself. Let's see what will happen. So it will actually start progressing one by one. Once the installation is done with all the softwares, here it is progressing for each file. Once the installation is done, then we can see it how actually uh, looks like the installation results and all. We can see it in once the installation is done. So it's a one is done, and we can see it better. Let this complete. So the steps got succeeded, and I'm just coming to next step. So just choose the default one, whatever it's standalone, it will be fine for us. So cluster DB we'll do it in production environment. For now, we can go with the standalone SQL Server. And here port, we don't need to change it. And if you have any specific reason in your project, once you join any organization, then you have to change it for a particular reason. For now, we can keep it default. We don't need to change any port or something. We just keep it default and click on next. And it is asking for passwords. So whether you want to use strong password or legacy authentication method, let's suppose some other method authentication methods you want to use it. For now, the password authentication is fine for me. So you can give any password. So you can give any password, either it is weak or strong. I'm just giving a simple password. You can make it strong by using some special characters and all. You can do that. And what I will be doing is user accounts. So let's create an user. So username I'll be giving some random name. So admin. So you can give any name that you wish. So I just added a user. Click on next. So choose the default. Click on next. And this is about the configuration steps we're going through and the logs. What are the logs? The progressive results will be logged here. Just click on execute. So if you want to see the logs, so what it is doing here, the logs will be coming down, and it will show the installation process over here. So all got succeed. That's it. We're done with the installation. Just click on finish. And now you have to go with the product configuration. So what are the products you want, and as server we need, let's just check whether it is available or not and click on next. So the host will be the local host, or if you want to check with whether the connection is success or not, just with the check with the details, local host and your password, and test a connection. This getting failure because you want to start the database first. So for now I just skipping this step, and later we can test the connection once we started the database. Let me finish the installation part, then we can start the database first, and then we can test the connection over there. So this is about products installation. So once we're done with, then you have to give the password, or the first password you gave for root, you have to give it here. Check whether the password is correct or not. Connection is established. So this is the password you gave it in the top, not for the add user page. And click on next and simply execute it. So this installation process is done for product configuration. Click on next again. And if you want to start the workbench and start shell after setup and all, you just select it, or else you just uncheck it. For me it's required now. Let me check it, and we'll see the result now. So now what it will actually opening, this is the shell uh, is available for MySQL software, and this is the workbench which we are discussing about. So my local database is ready now. So let me connect with this localhost with the port 3306. So I have to give the password for that, and it's so gave my root password. I just connected my database, and here you have options like management and instance and performance, all these options you'll be having. We can see one by one what it is actually. So the now the current workspace is ready for us to make our queries to be run. So if you want to execute any SQL queries like insert a query, insert a row, or delete a row, or update a row, or if you want to do any operations using SQL commands, you can put your SQL commands over here. You just need to run those commands, then you can get the expected output over here. Then you can see the all the tables and results over here in this tab, the navigator tab. So we can see it in next tutorial how actually looks like. Thanks guys, thanks for watching.